If we were looking at that ratio and it was really taking off and financials and tech together were doing terribly, it would be a different story. But I think when you look at that sector rotation and people are using that as end of the world, that's my point in pulling out financials and saying, no, look, financials, the backbone to a lot of people's bull market thesis when they were saying we were in a bear market, financials is leading. So it's one of those things like, this doesn't really make sense. And like JC's saying also, industrials are leading. And it's actually, to Michael's point, it's a lot of those industrials that are actually doing AI infrastructure, that are doing data centers, that are doing these types of things. So it's people try to craft these charts in ways to sell a certain narrative. But when you actually dig into the data, it's not what they're saying. It's not that things are going to collapse. It's that there's rotation that's actually bullish rotation.
I was promised a banking crisis, and I was told that the real estate market was going to crash the entire financial system and the whole house of cards was coming down. I see home builders making all-time highs, financials making all-time highs, real estate making new 52-week highs.
I'd just like to make a quick behavioral comment about what we're doing here. Larry comes on, he walks us through a series of charts that tell a story. JC gives it the thumbs up. There's two ways that I see people doing technical analysis. One way is very dry. It's very just data-based. It's just like JC says, it's just math. The story that's being told are just facts based on what you're seeing. Technical analysis is really just the analysis of data visualization, price data visualization. When you do that, it's very dry. It's very unemotional. In fact, it takes the emotion out. On the other hand, when you look at a chart and you take your own pre-existing view, your own biases, and you put it on the chart the same way that a Rorschach test shrinks, show these ambiguous ink blots at patients, and the patients would say, hey, this is what I see. I see a guy with a knife and he's going to kill somebody. Well, that tells you something about the person saying it. It says, hey, this person might have some violent tendencies or whatever. I'm just kind of making it up, but you get the idea. So anyway, there's two types of chartists that I see out there. There's one that are cold and look at the visualization of the data as it is for what it is. Like, hey, we got to keep an eye on this potential head and shoulders, but trends are much more common than reversals. So we're going to continue to look at it. We're going to view the market as innocent until proven guilty. And then we have these other people who just take their pre-existing biases and they put it on and they have a huge amount of leeway. You can see what you want to see. What did Simon and Garfunkel says? Man sees what he wants to see and he disregards the rest. And so I just want to point out. And so when JC gives you thumbs up of approval, Larry, it's a big deal because I know for a fact that this guy doesn't care whether the market's going up or down. He doesn't care about the political winds. He doesn't care about anything really, except for what the data is telling him in front of him with his eyes.